Alright, three NBA teams that need to make some changes. The Blazers, the Pacers, and the Kings. Now, I know you immediately thought trade when you saw the video. And yeah, there's a decent chance that that's the solution. Although I don't think there's an obvious trade for any of these three teams. But if we can dive into these three teams a little bit, with the Blazers, it's the defense. It's the trapping, the double teaming off of screens, whatever the hell you want to call it. Teams know it's coming. They're roasting them on corner threes, shots at the rim. And before we start talking about any trades they should make, I think let's just see what it looks like when you're dropping Nurkic a little bit more and daring teams to take mid-range. Now, they've sucked on defense for a few years now, so maybe nothing will work. Of course, having two small dudes in the backcourt doesn't help, and you're asking Powell to defend bigger guys and this whole spiel. To talk about the big one, which is trading Dame, to me, you don't do it until he wants out, or you get an offer that's just ridiculous and you have to take it. The other idea is trading CJ to get more defense, and maybe you take a little bit of a step back on offense, but the defensive improvement is worth it. But I just don't know what the move is. I mean, I'm going to mention the Kings here in a moment, and in theory, Harrison Barnes would be great for the Blazers. Versatile defender, can still do stuff on offense, but I just don't know why the Kings would trade Barnes for another guy who's 30 and costs a lot of money. I mean, if you want a random one, like let's say the Clippers, they're 25th in offense, they're 4th in defense, they could use some more scoring. Let's say they want CJ. What's the move? The only thing I could think of is Marcus Morris going back to the Blazers, which in theory, yeah, versatile defender and all that. But I don't know, is that really happening? No. Of course, the most popular one is Ben Simmons, and yeah, in theory, that'd be the super versatile defender who could set screens for Dame and give him more playmaking and all that nice stuff, but I feel like Philly would rather trade Ben for Dame, but if they have to move him for something eventually, maybe they'd take CJ, but who knows with that whole thing. If it's not going to be him, then you're hoping the teams would be really hyped for Covington or Nurkic, and they're both on expirings, but I don't think teams would be doing backflips to give you something really, really good for us. Anyway, then we go on to the Pacers. And Caitlin Cooper, who does really good stuff for the Pacers, had a great article talking about how they just fall apart in clutch situations where it's like the defensive coverages, they're not on the same page. Like Miles Turner has to contest Kevin Huerter off of a double screen action, and he has this moment of like, wait, this is what we're doing in the middle of the play, or Sabonis will be open off of a trap, but then he looks to set another screen rather than get the ball and then do something in the short roll. I mean, Brogdon is not a natural playmaker. I think he ideally is more of a combo guard, but he's asked to be the primary ball handler of this team. Of course, there's still the Turner-Sabonis thing, which I've gone back and forth on a million times. Well, if you trade Turner, the defense could fall apart. You trade Sabonis, and suddenly you really miss his gravity diving to the rim and his offensive rebounding and his passes out of short rolls. And I don't know. I think they definitely need another playmaker to take some pressure off of Brogdon. Karis LeVert so far has not been that guy. Now, you can say TJ McConnell, and maybe you're right. Maybe TJ is the secret sauce the Pacers need. Lean on him more, but he's also not a big threat to score. Now, of course, as I scan around the league and think about this playmaking guy who can be good on defense and make threes and all that stuff to help out Indiana and the other teams getting something back in return, it's not easy to find. And also, before you lose your mind on Pacers trades, remember that Malcolm Brogdon cannot be traded this season because of the way his contract is structured. I mean, if you want a deep cut, I can give you like Kyle Anderson, but he's also good for the Grizzlies, so I don't know if they'd really want to give him up. Now on to Sacktown, who are actually 4-3 since Alvin Gentry took over. I've seen Kings fans argue amongst themselves on trading De'Aaron Fox or not. I don't think I have the guts to suggest that. Besides him, I think the two dudes you're definitely hanging on to are Davion and Tyrese. And after that, I don't really know, man. I mean, Harrison Barnes, good player. Do you want to re-sign him into his 30s? I mean, he's a good two-way guy, no doubt. But his trade value is probably the highest right now that it's going to be. And there's no guarantee he's going to want to stick around for a new contract. And then you have Buddy, who is kind of one of the more up-and-down guys in the league. Maybe on a different team he'd be more consistent. But here it's like he goes 3 games in a row looking like the best shooter in the league. Then he goes another 3 games taking ill-advised shots, and the percentages are ugly and all that. Of course, Ben Simmons has been talked about with Sacramento for a bit. Honestly, all 3 of these teams, really. And the Kings, more so than maybe any other team in the league, could use a guy who could defend almost every position. Now, is there a move there? I don't know, man. We've talked about the Ben Simmons thing enough. I mean, I've seen some Kings fans suggest trade pretty much everyone who's not on a rookie contract and just get as many picks as possible and go that route. And maybe they're right. I don't know. I mean, is there some new version of the Buddy Hield for Kuzma and Montrez trade that can light a spark under this team? Does that even matter given that they don't have an all-star on the roster? Again, I don't really know where to start with this team. To me, Halliburton, Mitchell, and Fox are the keepers, and everybody after that start fielding offers and see what you can get. And actually, one more thing about the Kings.